Hello, Abnormal Investigations. I'm dropping 2 videos again today. I'm going to try something a little different. I usually drop videos around 8 o'clock p.m. at night, but this one I want to drop a little later. Usually when I do 2, I do them around 7 and 8. Tonight, I'm going to try to drop one at 9, which will be this one, and we'll see how it does. If you like this time slot for videos, please give me a like so I know how well that you all like it, and I will know to do more at 9 o'clock. Let's get into this encounter. I want to start this off by introducing myself and providing a small amount of background information. My name is Jules. At the time of the story took place, I was living with my boyfriend. For his sake, I will be referring to him as D and his family in a small rural town surrounded by woods in central Alberta, Canada. I am originally from a big city in Ontario, but spent my summers camping and had never had an experience quite like this in all my lifetime in the woods. It wasn't too late at night when we decided to head outside for a smoke, maybe 9:30 or 10. At the latest, Dee and I snuck out of our room quietly so as not to disturb the sleeping children or their mother. We let the dog out and made sure the door was secured before we made our way to the shed where we like to hang out while we smoke, so we can have a little privacy. He lives in a trailer park and has an uncomfortably noisy neighbor. I noticed a strange feeling in the atmosphere, but I brushed it off. We lived in a shady town, and things often felt off. We were situated in the shed, chatting about whatever stupid topic had come to mind, when I realized that it was dead silent outside. The town was right off a major highway, a highway that could always be heard from his house, even at night. This made me uneasy, and I told Dee to be quiet so we could listen. And as soon as we shut up, we heard 3 consistent taps that came from the window to my left. It sounded like somebody was drumming their fingers along the glass. At first, I thought it was just hearing things, and I'm a schizophrenic sometimes, and my mind has a tendency to play tricks on me. But as Dee and I stared at each other, wide-eyed, I knew it was real. We sat in silence for a moment, analyzing, straining our eyes and our ears, trying to see or hear something to pick up any sound from the outside. But there was nothing. It was silent. We couldn't even hear the dog roaming around the small yard, and as I had a background in witchcraft, which I'm sorry that I did, and have always loved anything scary, everything I had ever heard about skinwalkers flooded my mind, and I was scared. Suddenly, something started banging aggressively against the side of the shed under the window, and we had initially thought it was the dog, but it wasn't. I could tell that it was something large and fleshy hitting the metal behind it. It wasn't a clang or anything like that. It wasn't the soft thunk the dog made when he jumped on the shed. It was like somebody was slamming their head or fist against the wall. Immediately we decided that it was enough, and we began to pack our stuff to go inside. I put my chair away, and his was waiting for Dee to finish up so we could leave. I leaned against the door, which doesn't properly latch because it's missing the metal piece that goes from the frame, which was also splintered and broken. Whatever was banging on the wall had enough of that I felt for the first time, I've had enough, and I said, "Stop it!" And everything went silent for just a short moment. It startled me when it slammed into the door behind me. I felt the impact through the cold metal. I felt the door budge just a little bit under my weight, and as soon as the sound of thuds ended, something was being dragged across the door, something sharp. I could feel it, just like the impact. I knew there was more than one point of contact. There was more than one thing dragging across the door, likely a hand, likely with huge claws. I equally likely attached to something that could and wanted to kill us. I could almost smell the evil in the air, and as I felt the door opening more and more with every thud, I feared for my life. I didn't think we were going to get out of the shed alive, and then it stopped. Just like that, the banging stopped, and as I heard the familiar sounds of the dog running up to the shed, I could hear footsteps retreating when I felt safe. I peeled myself away from the door. My legs were shaking as I slowly opened it just enough to see out and look around. The dog was there sniffing the ground and pacing about. She seemed stressed and couldn't really blame her. I had nearly soiled my pants myself. We left quickly, calling the dogs and running into the house as we crossed the porch and shoved the door open. Something on the roof moved in the corner of my eye. I looked over as whatever was up there ducked out of my view. I only caught a glimpse of it, but I could tell it was part human. I've done some digging since that night, looking for explanations, and I learned that the only native reserve was more than an hour away. Dee isn't really into folklore or superstitions, so we spent a lot of time trying to come up with a rational explanation of what happened, even going so as far as to bring the dog outside to see if her paws could reach the window of the shed, which she couldn't, not even close. There was at least a foot between her paw and the window, and that still wouldn't have explained the strange pattern of noises we heard. I've had several strange dreams about the house and those woods, dreams about malicious creatures chasing me, hunting me down, and tearing my flesh off. We haven't heard anything since. I might have something to do with the fact that I've been carrying sage and crystals around, or maybe whatever we had smoked caused us to share a hallucination. It couldn't have been, though, right? It was just Marlboros. Whatever it is, I'll never know. But I sure don't want ever to go walking in the woods behind the house again, at least not alone. I would say y'all were probably out there in that shed. It probably heard you or smelt your cigarette smoke and became curious. It sounds like a Bigfoot to me. A lot of times they are very curious. They're window peekers, and I think if they get a chance, they will peek and watch you and stalk you. But I honestly think, Sasquatch are not safe. I don't believe they're safe. I'm not saying that at all, and I'm saying that you should, get away from them if you see them. But I don't think they're as apt to attack you as the other creatures. That's just my opinion, and based on growing up at Granny's and also what she had told me, most of the time you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. So unless they're trying to take a child, I think, you leave them alone, you're pretty much going to be okay. But I still don't trust them. I'm telling you, I don't trust them. And I think that you probably just had one passing through that was curious. Thank you for sending this in. I really appreciate it. I enjoy your encounter. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And again, if you like the 9 o'clock drop, give me a like, guys, and look forward to hearing from you. Let me know in the comments if you like them, too. I read each and every one. Thank you so very much, guys. Don't forget to keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And we'll see you on the next one.